This video shows how to complete a suspension job on a 2008 Acura RDX two-wheel drive. We're going to install shocks in the rear, but in the front, we'll install these Duralast loaded strut assemblies for a faster install with better ride control. Now you can do this job at home with hand tools. These are the tools you'll need for the job. Big tools like the 36mm deep socket and the torque wrench you can borrow for free from AutoZone with the Loan-A-Tool program. You'll also need a good hydraulic jack, some jack stands, and wheel chocks. Make sure the car is in park with the parking brake on before starting. Now, loosen the lug nuts. Jack up the vehicle from a secure point and place it on jack stands. Remove the lug nuts and the wheel. Now, remove this brake hose bolt using a 12mm. Remove the ABS clip and grommet from the strut. Use an 18mm on both sides to remove the sway bar link nut. We're going to need to remove the axle nut here using a 36mm deep socket. You've got to make sure the axle is loose. You may have to use a punch and a mallet to get it there. Now use a 19mm and 22mm to remove the lower strut bolts and nuts. And then remove the strut from the knuckle. You may need to use a pry bar to pull down on the sway bar to remove the link from the strut. Under the hood, you'll need to pull back this weather strip and remove the plastic cover to expose the top strut nuts. Now you can remove the 5 top strut nuts using a 14mm deep socket, and then you can remove the strut assembly. Install the new strut assembly and tighten the 5 top strut mount nuts. Install the plastic cowl cover and weather stripping. Bring the jack back in here to raise the lower control arm and install the knuckle into the lower strut mount. Install the 2 lower strut bolts and nuts and then tighten. Get that pry bar back in here and pull down on the sway bar and install the sway bar link and nut and tighten. Install the ABS sensor, rubber grommet, and plastic clip. Install the brake hose and bolt. Now you can remove the jack from the lower control arm. Torque the axle nut to 242 foot-pounds and indent the nut with a punch and hammer. Install the wheel and the lug nuts. Torque the wheels to 80 foot-pounds. Lower the vehicle the rest of the way. Repeat on the other side, and you're ready to move to the rear. For the rear, remove the wheel the same way we did on the front, just with the appropriate wheel and support points. Remove the lower shock bolt using a 17mm. Now be careful, because we're going to have to go inside the trunk here. Remove the access panel to expose the top shock nut. Using a hex and a wrench, remove the top shock nut. Then compress and remove the shock. Once the shock is off, remove the rubber bushing from the body. Install hardware on the new shock. Compress the new shock and install it. You're going to have to remove the old hardware from inside the vehicle. Install new hardware on the vehicle and tighten the top strut nut. Then install the interior cover. Line up the lower shock bolt, install, and tighten. Install the wheel and the lug nuts. Raise the vehicle to remove the jack stand, then lower the vehicle until it touches the ground just slightly and torque the wheels to 80 foot-pounds. Then lower the vehicle the rest of the way. Repeat on the other side, and you're done. We recommend going for a test drive, getting an alignment check, and enjoying your new suspension.